Okay, so let's get right into it. What we're about to unpack is a story that honestly just doesn't add up on the surface. It's a tale of two earthquakes, two island nations, and two outcomes so wildly different they force us to rethink everything we thought we knew about natural disasters.
So here it is, the central mystery. You've got a monster 9.1 magnitude earthquake that hits Japan, one of the most powerful ever recorded. About 16,000 people die. But just a year before that, a magnitude 7.0 quake hits Haiti. Now get this, that quake was seismically hundreds of times weaker, but it killed over 220,000 people. How is that even possible? That's the question we're going to answer.
The answer, and this is really the key to the whole thing, doesn't actually begin when the ground starts shaking. No, it starts decades before that, in the very bedrock of these two societies. You see, the story of who lives and who dies in a disaster, well, that story is written long before the disaster ever shows up.
And this right here lays it all out. On one side, you have Japan. They're sitting right on the ring of fire, so they know a big one is coming. It's just a matter of when. They've got a stable government, a powerful economy, all the resources to prepare. Then you have Haiti, the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, with a long history of fragile institutions, and, maybe most critically, a total lack of building codes that were actually enforced. So you see the difference? Japan was gearing up for a known threat, while Haiti was basically a sitting duck, trapped by its own vulnerability.
This brings us to a really important idea, disaster risk management, or DRM. Now, don't let the jargon fool you. This isn't just about what happens after the disaster, the rescue teams and all that. It's about everything a country does beforehand to soften the blow. We're talking building codes, early warning systems, even just teaching people what to do. It's all about moving from simply reacting to being truly resilient.
And if you want a perfect example of this in action, look no further than Japan. What they've built isn't just some plan tucked away in a binder. It's a living, breathing part of their national identity. They've learned from every single earthquake in their past, poured tons of money into it, and created this incredible, multi-layered defense system. So let's peel back some of those layers.
So what does that system actually look like? Well, you've got the structural stuff. That's the earthquake-proof buildings, the massive seawalls, the things you can see and touch. But then there's the non-structural stuff, which is just as important. Think high-tech early warning systems that can give people just a few precious seconds to duck and cover. Or think about the culture itself. Every kid in Japan knows exactly what to do in an earthquake drill. It's not just a government plan. It's a whole-of-society effort, from the top all the way down.
Now, Haiti was the complete opposite. Without that strong central government, without the resources to build a system like Japan's, any chance of survival had to come from the people themselves. This quote really says it all. For Haiti, resilience wasn't about government programs, it was about family, neighbors, and local community bonds, because those were the only things left.
Okay, so you've got these two totally different countries with two totally different playbooks for disaster. And then the test comes. The ground shakes, and this is where we see which system actually works when it matters most.
And the first few moments, the first few hours, they tell the whole story. In Japan, that early warning system blares, giving people a chance to react. The government, amazingly, stays online and starts coordinating evacuations while a giant tsunami is racing towards the shore. Now look at Haiti. The quake doesn't just damage the country, it completely decapitates it. The presidential palace, government buildings, hospitals, communication towers, they all crumble. There's just chaos and a long, desperate wait for help to arrive from the outside.
And that right there is the key difference. It all comes down to infrastructure. In Haiti, the buildings weren't just buildings, they were death traps. They pancaked, crushing tens of thousands of people. The very things you need to respond, hospitals, ports, government centers, were just gone. In Japan, sure, there was incredible damage, especially from the tsunami, but so many of the earthquake-proof structures held. The country, while battered, could still stand up and fight back.
All right, let's get to the numbers. And I gotta warn you, this is where the real gut punch comes. This is where those different starting points translate into a human cost that is just staggering.
First, Haiti, a magnitude 7.0. A really strong earthquake for sure, but on the grand scale of things, not a record breaker.
Not Japan, magnitude 9.1. You have to remember, this scale isn't linear. A 9.1 isn't just a little bit stronger. It releases hundreds of times more energy than a 7.0. This was an absolute monster, one of the biggest ever recorded.
And the result in Haiti from that weaker quake? Over 220,000 people dead. Just let that number sink in for a second.
And in Japan, from the megaquake and the horrifying tsunami that followed, around 15,900. Now, every single one of those deaths is a tragedy, but the difference between these two numbers, it's just mind-blowing.
Putting it all side by side like this, it makes it impossible to ignore. A much weaker quake leads to exponentially more death, displaces 3 times as many people, and completely wipes out the government's ability to even respond. This table isn't just data, it's a final verdict on why preparation is literally a matter of life and death.
And let's be super clear here. The 2011 event in Japan was an absolute catastrophe. I mean, look at this chart. It was the deadliest single disaster in their modern history. This wasn't some near miss. It was a direct hit from a cannonball that was only partly deflected by a shield they'd spent decades building. And knowing that makes the comparison to Haiti even more shocking.
And if you need one more fact to really drive this home, here it is. If you were to make a chart of the biggest, most powerful earthquakes of the last century, the 2010 Haiti earthquake wouldn't even be on it. It was too small to make the list, and yet it caused one of the deadliest disasters in modern history. So at the end of the day, it was never about the raw power of the earth. It was always about the fragility of what we build on top of it.
So what's the big lesson here? What do we learn from all this? It's so easy to look at these things and just see them as tragedies, but they're more than that. They're classrooms. They teach us that maybe the term natural disaster is a bit misleading. The earthquake is natural, sure, but the disaster, that's on us.
So here are the big takeaways. Number 1, development saves lives, period. Strong buildings and stable governments are your best defense. Number 2, you have to be proactive. The flashy rescue missions we see on TV are important, but they aren't what really saves the most lives. It's the boring, quiet work done years before that does. Third, everyone has to be in on it, from the top of government all the way down to every single citizen. And finally, and this is maybe the most important point of all, vulnerability isn't just bad luck. It's created by poverty, by bad governance, and by a simple failure to plan for what we know is coming.
So where do we go from here? This quote kind of points the way. It's about collaboration. It's not enough for scientists to just be in their labs or for engineers to be at their drafting tables. They have to work together. And, crucially, they have to work with the people on the ground, in the local communities, to make sure the solutions they come up with will actually work in the real world. So when you boil it all down, this whole story leaves us with a really big question for our own future. The secret to surviving the next mega disaster isn't about perfectly predicting it. We can't. It's about preparing for it. The blueprint is there. We know what to do. The only question left is, are we, as a planet, learning this lesson fast enough?